Is it live? Am I live finally? All right. What's up, everybody? This is T1 here, and it is Thursday. As usual, I was, debating between whether I would do a video or do a stream. I decided I'm just gonna do a quick stream. Maybe short, may not be very long, but we'll see. This event, I don't have the event deck for, so this is not going to be a how do you use the actual event deck, but I am going to show you how I am going through the guild boss and the solo bosses. But what I want to focus more time on today actually is just playing with some of the older cards I haven't used in a very long time, and I'm having a lot of good time with it, and I'm having fun. So I am going to showcase that. But what I want to do is I'm going to talk to you about the full team that I am using in both the Corellium, Crusades, solo bosses, and also guild boss. So this is the first one. If you have this setup, you should be good to go. I mean, like a lot of people who have the current event ultimate form are using a very similar setup, and they're able to get really, really good damage. But even without any commanders in here, this one is doing just fine. So we're gonna take a look at how you use this, right? So one of the things that you want to add in here is Frozen Devastation, which is also an arcane killer, but what it does is it has a 1.5 times nuke damage after your initial attack. So this really helps in the guild boss fights because you don't really care about the overkill, you just want to deal enough damage. And with this setup, I have this at 2 stars, and its damage is pretty high just because it's attack value is pretty boosted. Right, I have it awakened twice, not fully maxed out, but it does pretty well. So we got Li Shang and Chi Men on in the chat today. Welcome here. So like I said, welcome. This is going to be just a, who knows? It might be a short stream. It might be long, depending on how things go. But I am going to go ahead and showcase how I use this deck against Guild Boss, for example. All right. So we're not quite at level 300 just yet, but oh, where did it go? There you go. There you are. But we're getting there. All right. So with this team, we have the Defiant Duets, the Jailers. This is sort of like a very standard set, if you will. And then there's the team for the Lost Guardians. In terms of the relics, I just put a couple in there. I made sure also to put in one of the Slayer relics that will boost all Arcane Slayers, and then a couple of the Earth ones so that I could actually power up Jailers. And so with this, it's a 2, depends on how much damage you can deal on the second turn, but if you can be quick, you can at least get 2 to 3 hits in here. So the first turn, all you have to do is make sure that you can get all of your earth gems and also water gems lined up, because for Jailers, you need to match 9 gems, and then for Frozen Devastation, you need to match 6 gems. So if you can do that, which should be relatively easy with a relic setup, then you can go ahead and activate from left to right. Pretty simple. All you have to do is activate everything from left to right. You activate Frozen Devastation last, it's fine. And then wait for all the relics to, wait for all the power gems to override each other. And then, let's see, I don't see, now I'm not sure this is going to deal a lot of damage because of the way the power gems lined up. But you can see here, it's okay. So this was decent. So it dealt, maybe about 500 or so. But then what's nice is my Frozen Devastation dealt another 300 trillion after that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do some quick gem matches. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to get rid of some of these power gems because they actually end up distracting me. Like all this, the passive spawns end up distracting me, so I end up losing time. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wait until all of my battle skills are available. I'm going to wait until I get hit until I die. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to purposely lose my life, because then I can revive, and I think I can take one more hit. Yeah, take one more hit. And so I'm going to revive on purpose. And then I'm going to go ahead and activate everything again, because I get my ambush back and I get an extra delay, so I get some extra damage as well. So that really depends on how the power gems drop and how they form. So I'm going to go ahead and do a quick match here. Oh, time's up. So I couldn't get my nuke off if I needed to. So this one didn't do as much as I would have liked. So you can see like just how big of a difference there is between damage output. It really depends on how your gems fall. I was able to do it one time where a single shot with nuke dealt over 1.5 quadrillion. So I was able to one shot the boss like immediately. But like you saw here, I was able to deal like 500-600 in like one shot, and then what, like less than 100 in another shot. And so it really does have a variability. But this is at least decent. Like you could probably do this in 2 attacks. If you couldn't do it in 1, usually I think by the second time you should have better luck. And if you have other people in your guild that can have similar setup, then you shouldn't have any problems with the guild bosses. Like I would think that anybody who has the Water Slayer team with jailers, they shouldn't be having any issues with the guild boss, right? People might actually have more of a difficult time with waves though, right? And so now we're gonna deal another 271. So what's nice is they've now sort of listed out the amount of damage that you can deal against the boss, and because I don't have any commanders in there, there's no additional boosted damage. So like what you see is what you get essentially. But this is what I've been using for my guild bosses, and for the waves, I have a very similar setup. I'm gonna show you right now. But before that, we're gonna go and take out a solo boss. So with the solo boss, it's essentially exactly the same. Notice that they also took away weaken. So they had a bug in the game where weaken was not dispellable for the first day when we were playing. And so we raised that to the devs, and then they tried to address it, but instead of trying to fix it and cause more problems, they just decided to switch weaken to I think traitor. So it should be a lot easier now too. Let's see. SD1035, that was 3 key. It was a 3 key attack. So Rock D241, is there something that I can use other than the Define Duet? Yeah, so I'm gonna show you something that I am playing with, but right now what I'm doing is I'm just kind of going through just like the teams that I'm using, because I don't really have any other options. Some other teams that you can use if you don't have jailers is you can use, because there's no weaken, so you don't have to worry about weaken anymore. The other one you can use is going to be the fire arcane killer, right? So what you want to do is you want to put in 1 or 2 ideally circuit break Hilaria. So circuit break Hilaria is also going to give you a boost to your arcane. So basically what you do is, instead of putting the jailers in here, you would just put in circuit break Hilaria, right? You put 2 of them in, you wait for it to be the passive ability to come up, so you have 8 fire power gems, and then you activate them, and then you can basically go through the same stuff. I could probably show you in a little bit. I'm going to go through and take out the solo boss, and then we will go back and try it out. So like I said, solo boss, pretty much the same thing. This one, again, sometimes I barely just take it out. Sometimes I can get 500% overkill. To me, it doesn't really matter. I kind of want to just get through it, because I actually enjoy playing through the waves right now with some of the cards that I've been using. So a lot of people are also using the ultimate form. Like I said, the ultimate form pairs up really well with jailers or with Hilaria. Both of those options are good. And let's see. So we need to make sure that we match everything. And then so like you play exactly the same. There's really no difference. This one has counterattacks, and you have a little bit less opportunities to survive, but you can still do so. And let's see. So like now it's that with this, sometimes like you can sort of get a sense of like whether or not your damage is going to be good or not. But let's see how much we do. Okay, so this one we deal about maybe 500. So I think this will get me close to 200% overkill. Let's see. Yeah, so this gives me 200%, not quite the 500%, but like I said, it's not really a big deal. I used to get quite a bit of trophies there, so that's good, right? And now, what I wanted to showcase really is like, after playing through and I was watching, I was kind of watching the chats. A lot of people are either having a hard time with the waves, with the current event deck, or they're just really not sure what they can use. And so I'm hopefully I can sort of show you some ideas that could help you through, especially if you don't have the deck, right? Like if you have the deck, that's one thing, but if you don't have the deck, then that's something that we could try. So the Reaper, I'm not sure if the Defined Duet is going to show up anymore. I feel like we've already gone through the Defined Duet. Like we had it both in the Proving Grounds, and I think we saw it already in the Drillfist Depot, right? So I think that is gone, but I'm not sure what they plan to do in the future. And so there's also like, you can also go with the Noble Killer if you wanted to. Like there's a lot of different options, but those are all like, for people with like the really, sort of like strong decks. Now I'm going to show you one option that I go through for the waves. If I can. Now this is going to be sort of like, hey, I have the team, therefore I do it. But if you're going to go it, you might as well go all in with your event deck. In fact, this one was what I was using, but I could actually switch this out for Frozen Devastation. But not everybody will have it, so you can go with this. This is just fine. If you're going to do that, though, instead of using Defiant Duet, it's actually better for you to use Consecrated Wizardess in the wave format. And so Reaper, like, Defiant Duet is good, mostly because it also gives you additional power gems, but it's not the most important. Like, you don't really need to have it in order to succeed. And I'm going to show you with this in this case. So the nice thing about Jailers and the Consecrated Wizardess is that you don't need to activate it to get the power up. As long as you get the delay in there, you're going to get the power up here. So what's nice here is if you can get a Lost Kingdom Guardians as an ally, then what you do here is on turn 1 activate 2 of them. Okay, like don't worry about saving up your power gems or your battle skills or anything like that. Just go ahead and use it. Okay, you're guaranteed to go through the first 4 or 5 waves easily this way. And wave 4 is usually always going to be a wisp anyway. And so what you're going to do here is you're just going to go ahead and activate the second batch. And the first batch, had a GS, so it didn't even have a delay. So you're not even going to be dealing as much damage as you will this turn. And so the first 2 turns, this is all about saving time. Just go ahead and use it up, go through the waves. And now what's nice is you can take advantage of the 2-turn cooldown. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to wait for 1 turn. Okay, I'm just going to do a quick gem match, wait for 1 turn, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and activate all 4 of these. Notice at this point, I'm not even worried about the Earth gem matches. I'm not even worried about it just yet because I'm going to have an opportunity to actually match it. It's not going to be a problem for me, right? So I'm going to go ahead and do this. And so if I match the Earth gem, it's fine. Like, it happens to drop here. So I'm good. I'm not going to use it until last turn. Okay. But here you see, it's not a solo boss. So it's like, it's not a rare boss. So we can't show you. And this is going to be a wisp, but it does work. Like in this setup, all you have to do is just keep activating it every 2 turns, and you just activate all 4 of them, in a row, and you'll be fine. And then when time comes for the final boss to show, this is when you're going to activate your battle skills. And what happens here is whenever you activate, even though you don't have ambush anymore, you're not technically delaying the turn of your bosses. The skills of Jailer and also Consecrating Wizardess is that as long as the battle skill has the word mentioned like delay in it, even if it doesn't happen, it will get a boost. Okay, so if you take a look here, you only increase the counter of your enemy if you are ambush, but when you're not, you won't turn delay, but you're going to get the damage boost. So it is kind of nice. So pay attention to what happens here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and activate everything. Notice like because I don't have ambush, it doesn't really matter. I can activate them later. But you can see as I'm activating these cards, because the battle skill says, the word delay, right? You get the boost here. But notice I'm not actually delaying the boss here. So that's one thing that I didn't quite notice before, but I realize it now. So if you're ever wondering, this is the reason why. Okay, so that's the power of the battle of the Jailers, is that even though you don't actually turn delay, as long as the battle skill itself says it, and even if you don't match the conditions, you can still power it up. So here, it's a really simple way to get through the waves. Okay, so that is sort of like how I'm going if I wanted to go quickly. But if I'm going through all of these, like eventually kind of gets a little bit boring. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, like I said, a lot of people are having a hard time with it, and not everybody has the same cards I do. So I came up with some ideas, okay? And these are not always going to be cards that you can use in Corellium, for example, but some of them can, okay? And it all depends on what you use as an ally. So I'm going to show you one that I was using earlier. I'm going to change this. So I used this, actually. So this is actually kind of fun. So I'm just gonna show you what I do, but it's gonna take a while. So I'm not gonna go through all of it. But what I'm doing here is taking advantage of my friends who have the event ultimate form as the ally, and then I can take advantage of this card. So like, take a look at this, right? I have 3 Josephine quick draws, which are the collection heroes for this event. So let's say you pull from the vault and this is all you get. Well, don't dust them. This is a Generation 2 card that was one of the most desired cards. Okay, it went with the Wendigo Dynamite Dougal deck from the oh my gosh, I can't remember the full name of the event, but it was the Minds of the Wendigo event. All right, and this card has a immunity, and it also gives you a damage reduction, 25 damage reduction, plus a gem spawn. Okay, so you spawn gems whenever you attack. It has a 5-turn cooldown, and so I have 5 cards, and so what I did was I brought in 5 cards that give me all immunity. So I got Nicole, which also is a 10 times collection card in this event. It also has a 5-turn cooldown with a immunity. Same through the Enchanting Empress, and then 2 Josephine quick draw. Now you wouldn't think that this is possible to deal damage against the Corellian waves, but it is. Right? It just takes a while. And now in terms of relics, I just kind of threw in whatever the strongest water relics I have for commander. So like, it didn't even matter. For me, I just kind of threw everything in there. I have a relic that gives me immunity on the first turn. And because of that, you're going to see I basically take 0 damage the entire match. Now I'm not going to go through the entire waves here just because it will take very long, but I wanted to show you the possibilities, and I wanted to show you like, hey, look, it's not always about the current ultimate form. It's not always about getting the strongest deck in order to compete. Sometimes being able to compete using cards that have this specific functionality that can help you get through the waves can be a lot of fun as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and show you, right? So I have a relic that gives me immunity on the first turn, so I'm not going to take any damage. Then I'm just going to kind of cycle through, okay? I'm just going to cycle through here. I'm going to do an attack. And notice that every time I attack, I'm spawning more gems. And after I get attacked, I'm going to spawn even more power gems, because that is the special ability of Josephine Quick Draw. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rely on the ultimate form, which has a additional 200% damage boost. So it's already giving itself a 900% damage boost. This battle skill is going to give it an additional 200. So it basically has a 1100% damage boost. And now if you take a look, I'm going to go ahead and also do use Nicole here, because I don't necessarily expect that I'm going to take out the wave in one shot. And if it does, then it's okay, I move on, right? But the bulk of the damage is going to come from this card, the Uprising Coven. So 8.7 billion here. Go through the first wave just fine, right? I actually used this setup against the Deep. Now, luckily, I didn't go up against Homelander, but I did come across the Deep, and that took a long time. But you basically are using this deck, and you're just taking advantage of your ultimate form ally. So every 3 turns, you can activate it so you can get additional 200% boost, and you should be able to take out the waves relatively easily. So you can see here, right? Like, not a single time has my health dropped at all, right? Not a single time. And that is the beauty of this deck. In a wave format, you can play this forever, okay? There is a little bit of an issue. Sometimes this game, I think, will crash, like if you play for too long. But with this setup, I mean, you can... I chose this setup just to sort of show that, hey, I can do some, like, really funky build here. But you could probably put in something that has stronger power gems, spawning capability, so you can get a little bit more damage each hit. So you don't have to take too long, but generally this should be fine. Like you can see here, I'm not taking any damage whatsoever, and I'm going through just fine. I'm actually gonna quit out because, like I said, I don't want to take out too much of the time because I want to showcase the builds. I want to showcase the different cards rather than going through the fights. I have a lot of keys anyways, and so the other one I was kind of playing around with, although this one is not a Corellian friendly one, so this is more like a Ruby boss. Okay, so Ruby boss. Let's see. Same thing. You know, if we use the event ultimate form, it definitely will be super easy. But you can use, let's say, the plundering pirates, for example. 1 star will be fine also. So another setup I was sort of playing around with was this. Okay, if anybody has Karasu and the Golden Trickster, we got Golden Trickster as a reward at one point. I think everybody who played it for, not everybody, but a lot of people who's been around for a while, like I think this was a card that was available. So we got one of these cards for free. I actually chased after this deck when it first came out. This was in the 2nd anniversary deck. And it has a very fun and interesting mechanic that I never really tested with since Gem Crush came out. And so I was kind of testing out. It actually has a pretty interesting mechanic there. So I'm using more the support card as a leader because it gives me 600% health boost for all commanders. And then I'm using Enchanting Empress because I have her and because it gives me immunity, everything, that is a very powerful card. And I have Crowbait Raidu, which is the same thing as the Karasu, except it has a 2-turn cooldown instead of 1 turn. All right, so let's take a look here. I think it's a lot of fun actually. So let's play it out. And afterwards, we can explore some other things as well. Like what I haven't explored, I haven't really shown you guys how to use the Circuit Breaker area, and I haven't shown you how to use golems. It's just that they're so overused. Like it feels like every single event, all I do is talk about jailers. All I do is talk about golems. So I wanted to try something a little bit different. I wanted to put focus on some of the other things here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you a couple of things. I'm going to activate the battle skill of both Raidu and also Karasu. So what they do is they would create this celebration tile. The tile lasts for 4 turns, and it spawns Power Gem 2 every single turn for 4 turns straight. Now, before Gem Crush came along, all this would be able to do is this will be able to go up to Power Gem 4, and that's it. It was such a waste for 4 turns straight because it was basically trying to upgrade Power Gem 4, and it will stay Power Gem 4. And so, like, back then, you have to play it differently. You had to move the Power Gem out of the way and everything. And, now you don't. Now what you do is you get the Power Gem in there, you let it stay there. Okay, you let it stay there and watch what happens. So we have a Power Gem 5 over here. Okay, we have a Power Gem 5. It's going to upgrade to a Power Gem 7. This Power Gem 2 is going to upgrade to Power Gem 4. And basically, like, just keep it there. Like, don't. Oh, I guess it's going to move, which is unfortunate because I matched the one that's down there. But this is a current this gem right here. That's a 10 times. That is a Power Gem 6. All right, and this one's gonna get upgraded to Power Gem 6 as well. So you can see that, like, it's amazing, right? So what I want to do here is I'm gonna go and activate another one, and I'm going to. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have activated because now I can't really save it. I wanted to keep this one here, but what I can do is I guess we'll see, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and show you. So if it goes up to Power Gem 6, when I explode the tiles, it's gonna go across and above. So what it's gonna do is I'm going to create a row of Power Gems, and then I'm going to do a column which is gonna cause a Gem Crush. So let's see which one does it explode. All right, so it does this one. Now it gives me 8, but I've seen it where after upgrading the Power Gems using the Celebration tiles for a bit, I actually ended up getting a Power Gem 11. Okay, just out of these cards. Like, it's just, you would never have thunk it, right? Now the only thing is I don't have a lot of relics that give me corrupt intensity. Otherwise I could explode all of these. Like, I actually kind of wanted to try them out just to see, but it is just a very interesting sort of dynamic that I haven't tested out in a very long time, and it's a lot of fun. So I'm actually enjoying it just by trying now. So this is against Ruby. You can see, like, the deck isn't really all that great. It's really the ultimate form, right? Like, if you bring an ultimate form as an ally, you can use literally any card. Honestly, like Ruby, or even like maybe not so much Diamond, but for sure Ruby. You can see, like, I had a really easy time with Ruby with this setup here. Okay, and mostly just because I wanted to know like what would happen if I were to go with a celebration tile. Like, how does celebration tiles work in Gem Crush, right? And this is what you see. It actually, if you can get a power gem to stay there, it will upgrade it from power gem 4 to 6, 8, 10, and 12 is the maximum. But then if you can get a celebration tile in the middle, right? Now you can upgrade a power gem 8 to power gem 10, 12, 14, 16. And if, it's just one of those things where, it was never possible before. So I actually kind of think that was quite interesting. All right, so what other teams have I tried? So I actually also did try a team fully with Wendigo. So we can try this now, right? So we can go ahead and use this. Now, if I wanted to do like a full Generation 2 deck here, this is the deck that, was it corrupt? No, it's human. This is a deck that back then had just so many people spending tons and tons of resources trying to get it. Everybody was trying to get Wendigo. And I think either this setup or 3 Dynamite Dugo with 2 Josephines was the most ideal, right? Let's see. 3 times Josephine plus Nicole means water gem flood. Yeah, so like basically we're constantly getting non-stop water, water gems. And with this one, you do need to have some human relic in here because you want to take advantage of the human intensity. So for those of you who are probably new, who haven't seen it in ever, they've sort of changed it, right? So I'm actually going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to change this. I'm going to change that. And then I'm going to bring in this one right here. So here's my 3 relic intensity generating relics. I don't have a lot of them. This is really sad, but the way Dynamite Dugo works is kind of like Circuit Break Hilaria, right? Like, depending on the number of power gems on the board, what it will do is it will it will go up to maximum 5,000% damage for all human heroes. And so there was a time when this could be applied to a Slayer deck, and we could deal a lot of really good damage there back then. Now that it's in the post New Dawn era, it's not quite as good anymore. Let's go ahead and bring this one in, right? And because they're not empowered, you're not really going to be able to deal just as deal as much damage. But like, I haven't used Dynamite Dugo or Josephine in so long. It just felt nice. It just felt nice to be able to use them. And with this deck, again, like you're getting your immunity, right? You're getting a ton of immunity, and you're getting passive gen spawns. Like, this deck really doesn't really, you don't really need to do a lot. It's a very easy to play deck. The only thing that you don't have going for you is your health, right? So this is not a great deck to go after for anything greater than Ruby. I think this is great for Platinum. It's really great for Platinum. Like at this point, basically, I have to make sure that I do immunity, or I am going to lose my health. But what I want to show you is like, as my intensity is going up, when I get enough battle power gems, right? So I'm going to wait one more turn, because what's going to happen is I'm going to get my passive ability. So I'm going to get my power gem spawns. I'm going to activate the battle skills, and then you can see how much damage it can deal. Right? So right now it's not really dealing a whole lot, but the way you play this really is you can see like how much damage I'm taking here. So I'm going to go ahead and activate here, right? And I don't think I need to worry about immunity right now, because I think I should be able to deal enough damage to take him out. So we jumped up to 500 million, right? Whereas before it was maybe like in the tens. So we already dealt like 10 times more damage. And so you can kind of continue on here. So like I'm gonna try and get through this. So let's go ahead and see if we could. Let's see if we could finish off this fight here. Yeah, so as long as I'm being careful, I think we should be fine. All right, so it is Generation 2 deck. Okay, this is a full-on Generation 2 deck, but this is a very powerful Generation 2 deck that a lot of people have really enjoyed using back in the day. It hasn't seen any use in a very long time, and I built up these cards over time, right? Okay, so now here's going to be a little bit of a challenge for me, right? So I need to wait until I can activate my battle skills again, but it's gonna be a 6-turn cooldown, I believe. I think it's 6-turn cooldown. So I'm gonna have to survive here. I may not be able to survive it. If I don't, then I'm just gonna have to quit out. But I am also getting most of my health here. Let's go ahead and activate here. Yeah, so this is probably not a Ruby boss, but I definitely was doing just fine against Platinum, right? So yeah, I almost lose all my health here, and I'm not gonna have my excuse me, I'm not gonna have my um, ability to revive here, so I'm gonna end up losing this one. But like that was just just a trial, right? Just for fun. I wanted to see how this would work. Couldn't pass this level, but drop it down 1 to platinum, and you should be fine. And really, realistically, what you can do is you can also revive and play, but I'm not going to revive because we're going to end up watching a commercial, and I don't want to do that. So Jason Fox, welcome to the stream here, and from New Zealand. Thank you for joining me here. Magic Man, Corellium Crusade, 4 million health gone in 3 seconds. Yeah, so I think Cthulhu is one that is one-shotting everybody, right? So that's kind of crazy. So what else? What other teams am I trying out? So like other teams that I found viable for 3-turn for Corellium, like you can. I actually found that the Plundering Pirates isn't as good for the wave format personally, whereas like Wave Warriors was really good. I really really enjoy using Wave Warriors, and if you can add like 1 or 2 either turn delay or immunity decks, like that will take you a long way, right? Another deck that I was using was not even water based. Okay, so like I think I was going through at least platinum, right? It was at least platinum where I was going through using the light deck. I think I might have changed it out. I was using a fire deck too. So some of the options, I want to see, did I get rid of it? So this one, for example, I was using in my Crusade. So this is Crusade 1. Yeah, and I kind of got rid of it. So you can also see, like, if you wanted to go with, I can show you, right? If people are saying like, hey, I don't have any water cards, I can't go through the the Crusade levels. Well, actually you can. You actually can. So let's just see if there's any fire bosses here. Not fire boss, any fire. I suppose what I could do is I could use Ray because I want to boost my fire commanders. And so what's nice is you can use this deck, right? You can use the Flamebound Taurus. What it does is gives you a 3 turns full of power gems. Like there's a lot of teams, especially last season, where like every single turn you're getting tons of power gems, right? Well, off affinity, not really what you're looking for in high levels, but like lower level, at the lower level, this is perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna show you, like, even though I'm not using water, I could still use this deck. I could make it work, and you could. I guess I probably don't have the right relics in here. That's probably why. But anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and activate. So basically, I just need to activate these 4 cards. Yeah, I think I changed it up. So like, I was using this one, but I think I had the Ring Royalty in place of my Primeval Torchbearers. But in any case, like, basically you just kind of go through here, and I'm using Ray, so I don't have any killer boost in here either. But this is against a platinum boss, so it's relatively easier, right? So like, you don't always have to go water, is really what I'm trying to say, and you don't always have to go for like the most recent decks. There are still decks that are viable. It's just a matter of how you use them. You don't have to go with Commander. You can use Slayer decks if you have the right booster, as I've shown there also, right? I'm going to go ahead and use this because I think I need to get some power gems spawned here. And what's nice here is, after this, I can also use my nuke damage that's been stored up against my against the boss that's going to come up. So I can actually, I think I'll be able to one-shot the boss at this point. It's the 4 p. Oh, it's the 4 PMs that get you. Yeah, they hit quite hard. I guess it won't really take it. That was 9 billion. You saw that, right? I find that with the current event deck, if you use like the current event deck straight up in the Corellium Crusades, I think that's where you end up losing your health a lot more. That's what I've noticed. Well, I didn't notice it because I don't have the team, but that's what I've heard people say. So there you go. So like that was platinum. For the most part, people shouldn't really have that much difficulties with platinum bosses, really, because I think they've lowered the difficulty also. But it's just, different people have different decks that they have available. But I'm just trying out different things, and I'm having a good time, just enjoying myself so far. But I guess what I'll do is I'll just kind of summarize what I did, right? Ultimately, if you don't have the event deck, go with the Slayer. Water Slayer deck, this is one of the best decks in the last few seasons, really. Everybody's going for it, okay? This is the best combination just because you can also get a nice nuke damage out of that. In fact, I'm going to try this again later maybe. But you can get nice nuke damage out of this, so it really works for your guild bosses. And if you want to go with Crusaders, it's better to simply go with Jailers and Consecrated Wizards. And honestly, you don't need Jailers. Like if you have the Consecrated Wizards, you can use that. Okay, any boost will be fine. And I even tried it without any Jailer boost. I tried with just like straight Water Slayer deck. It can be done. It'll take a while. Like it'll take a lot longer to get through a Corellium wave, but it can be done. I've done this. Okay. Any of the 3-turn delay will work as long as you can flood. Yeah, so basically what Magic Man says is correct. Like you really, like, if you can find a turn delay, 3-turn card delay, like you can get the battle skills going, you will do just fine. But like I'm not showing a lot of like the cards that people don't have access to anymore. But with this one, you can also use one of the cards that you can farm. If you go into the Codex, this is like one of the oldest cards in the game. Besides the legends, right? It's the Statch Harbor Brute. So this card you can farm. You can farm it in 1-5 in the regular campaign. And what this does is it will give you a 1-turn delay, but it only delays one enemy. It doesn't delay all the enemies, okay? But, it is something if you're going up against, for example, like, if you're going up against like a mini boss, like that could work. But ultimately you want the one that is a spirit. So what you want is type spirits, and it's going to be one of the. Oh, I don't remember what the name is. Where did it go? I guess I don't have an Ifrit. It's going to be one of the Ifrits here. So it's going to be Despair. Despair is the one that I don't have either. So if you don't have it, you'll never be able to get it because I didn't get it, so I will never have it. Anyway, so let's take a look now, right? So one of the things I mentioned is like if you don't have Jailers, some of the things that you can do is also you can use Circuit Break Hilaria. So let's go ahead and try to build it up. It's just that health is going to be a little bit of an issue, I think. So fire, but if you have the Water Slayer, that should be okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and build up Circuit Break Hilaria. You need to make sure that you have fire gems in there, and then you can use water. Right, Water Arcane Killer. We're gonna go with Slayer here, and most people what they do is they actually go with two from the Water Slayer. This lag is killing me. I think I'll go with this for now. But let's go back and change to Fire Commander, and then swap it out. And in terms of the relics, it's going to be your. If we're going up against the guild boss, so let's go ahead and Arcane Killer. We're going to put the 2 fire ones in there. I think it's going to be... which one is it? I forget which one is Commander. This one is Slayer. Actually, this will work because I have a Slayer card in here, but I can swap this out too. And then now I'm going to change this to... I need Arcane Killer cards, but I can also do Water Slayer. Where did it go? Here it is. Water Slayer. I guess I'll just use Arcane Killer for now because I don't have any... I don't really need it either. So I guess I can do one more for fire. And there, that should make sure that we can break all of the shields. Angry Dwarf. I saw one weird video not too long ago where the 3-turn delay somehow nuked a defender warden. Are you serious? That is hilarious. That is really hilarious. And it must have been a warden that isn't super strong. All right, so not sure if my guildmates are gonna take it up before I finish, but I'm gonna show you how this works, right? So in this case, you need to power up your circuit breaker area, and with the health here, though, I'm not sure if you can really last that long. So you really needed to build up all of your you really need to build up your arcane intensity as much as possible. So I guess like bring in as many of your I guess bring as many of the ultimate relics if you have it, the better. Yeah, so my guildmate's taking it out. So let's try this again. This tends to happen when I'm live streaming. Hey, I'm gonna do something where I'm gonna try to team against the boss, and then the boss dies. But I went in with the boss having really low health anyway, so it should be fine. I should have enough health here to last me to showcase how this works. All right, so let's see how this works here. And now with Circuit Breaker area, it depends, like the amount of damage you can deal will depend on how much intensity you have. And so it's not like the jailers where it's kind of like you're guaranteed to have this much. With this one, there's a cap, and also you need to sort of build up to it. And so let's kind of wait for my battle skill to be ready. Oh, and one thing I forgot to do. I always forget, because I'm so used to using the Lost Kingdom. Oh, I can actually do this. Nice, because I had Gen Crush. So now that I basically activated this way, let's see how much damage output this gives. So we're at 80 though, so I don't expect it to be too much. So you can see like the damage just isn't that high. But the problem here is the boss hits so hard. Okay, the boss hits so hard that I can't really survive that long. So I don't really think that this is that great of a setup for the high level Krellium guild bosses, but it can work against a lower level one, I think. And it's Baron this time, yeah. So it's cool. I mean, like it's good. It's good that they're attacking, and plus I went in when he's in mid fight, so I'm really just pulling their legs. Like I don't mind at all. So that was one setup. The other setup that you can use is if you want to go with Golem, right? If you want to go with Golems, then you're gonna have to go with a water immortal killer, right? So we're gonna go with immortal. So you're gonna do something like this. Oops. And if you already have golems, you probably have already figured out the right setup for you. So it's gonna be something to the effect of this, right? You're probably gonna just do this. Come on. And you're going to swap it out for this. You're going to keep these two the same, and then you're going to change this to Apex Predators. That's pretty much all you need to do. That's pretty much it. Now, another option is to go with Water Immortal Commander, and in which case, I don't have this one, but I have Wave Warrior, so I can do this too, right? So this is another option. And this is going to be a 2-turn deck also. Now what you need to do is you need to change this so you have, oh goodness, what am I going to do? Arcane, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Arcane Killer here. I need the dark and the blue. I guess it's okay. But I need water to do this. So I'm going to do Water Commander. Okay, so I'm going to do Water Commander here. I'm going to also put this in here, put this in here. Then I'm going to put in the Immortal Killer for the dark. I guess what I could do is I could probably do. I don't think there's a Dark Commander Arcane yet, so I'm just gonna do Immortal Killer for now. Just save some time, right? So something like this. This is going to be a turn 3 deck, and so let's see how much damage we can deal this time. Let's see, Guild Boss, is it almost dead? Okay. Looks like nobody's hitting there, so it's okay. So let's go ahead and now take a look at this, right? So no weekend, because they completely got rid of weekend all event, so we can use golems as much as we want. We can use jailers as much as we want. It's not going to be a problem. I guess. Oh, because I don't have an arcane commander, so that's why none of the water. That's why none of them came out. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I think I could probably do that. I can power up my Yeah, there you go. I can power my wave warriors. And now I have this. I think all I have to do is activate in this order. And let's see how much damage we can deal. Question is always like, which one do I do a match on? So let's see how much we can deal with this setup here. The damage is going to be applied to the wave warrior. Wave warrior is the one that's going to what? Wave warrior dealt less damage than my Lost Kingdom Guardians. What? Oh, I know why. That's very silly of me. So I'm expecting my Wave Warriors to be the damage dealer, but I didn't have it as a leader, so it lost its leader bonus. I'm just gonna forget about that and use the Apex Predators. So that was don't copy that setup. Don't copy at least not in that order, because I made a very silly mistake, right? Because what I did was I put the Lost Kingdom Guardians as the leader, and what that does is it doesn't oh my gosh, where's that? Is it? Oh, it's not Water Slayer at the time, it's Immortal Killer, Water. There you go. So it's gonna be like this one and this one. And then I'm gonna switch this back. And that's gonna suck because I need Arcane. Oh my gosh, this is killing me. Sorry guys. I'm just going to put this in here for now, because what's happening here is I am not gonna have any shield breaks. So anyways, let's try this out. I'm kind of doing this on the fly. So why did they do away with the weekend instead of fixing it? So my understanding is that they had to make some changes to account for, I guess, some new skills and whatnot. Oh man, I didn't actually. Can I survive this? Probably not. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use it. So what happened was the concern is if they try to fix it within the time frame of the game, who knows that they're gonna inadvertently introduce something else. So like that's the concern, is that they might introduce more defects. And so it was easier to just change out the debuff to something different. That's the reason why. Yeah, so that's 9.1 trillion. So like it not working the way I want to, because I'm doing this live in the in the video, but it's nowhere where I need it to be because my relics are all over the place. But anyways, like you want to set up the right relics here. I think using Slayers is going to be fine. You can get the Immortal boost, and it's really going to be your Apex Predators. That's going to be the case if you're going to use Water Slayer. But if you're going to use Water Commander, then you could use Wave Warriors also. It's, you know, depending on how you want to use it. So, but that's really not like what I wanted to showcase anyway. Mostly I wanted to talk about the different cards and different ideas I've had here. You can really build anything, and I think even for Corellium, as long as you can find some immunity cards, Josephine's really useful. Keeper, don't get rid of her. I think it's a really good card, even though it's a Generation 2 card. I think you should be fine, right? Like for sure, you should be able to survive most of the diamond bosses. But as you can see, I was able to use, like, you know, Generation 2 cards, like this one. Excuse me. Come on. Oh, I guess I switched it out. But there was a deck that I was using earlier before I switched out, but you know, it was able to go through the Corellium waves. So I wanted to share that, but mostly the one I thought was really fun to showcase was this card here. I haven't seen this used in such a long time, Golden Trickster. Really glad I got to use it. Fun card to use. A lot of interesting things going on there. If you have it, give it a shot. Just have some fun with it. Hector Mendes, can you use Woodworkers to deal damage? Woodworkers? What is the Woodworkers card again? I don't know that. I don't remember that card. Well, I don't recognize the name of that card. Woodworkers. if you can explain what the wood, if you can kind of tell me like, is it what affinity and what's the type here? What killer skill is it that I can search for? I can't. I honestly can't remember what the woodworkers is. But you know, I guess the answer to your question is like, well, depends. Is the card a water card? And if so, does it have a corresponding booster card that can go with it? Or are you using the right ultimate form for the killer skills? Like you need to just make sure you have these in your ingredients, and you should be fine. Like just if you're using water commander cards, use a water commander ultimate form as an ally. Arcane light. Okay. If you're using light, you could probably do okay. Obviously, I don't have that card, so I don't. Arcane light. Yeah, I don't have that card. So my answer is I used off affinity. I used light. I've used so like what I did was I used like commander. The deck that I used really it was this deck. I used Afterlife Alliance. So I used the Afterlife Alliance, and that was pretty successful. But that really only worked in, I believe, up to platinum, right? For sure, gold, and I think it just worked up to platinum. Once you go above platinum, you're not dealing enough damage to the boss, even with some boost. But I mean, if you're using that with jailers, who knows? You might be able to dent it a little bit, but you're losing way too much damage if you're using off affinity at a high level. So give it a try. My recommendation would be to try it out and see how much damage you can deal. All right. Anyways, went longer than I had expected, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Showcase the decks in the beginning. Try it out. Let me know like if there's any other ideas that you guys have, like a funky, like weird, like just like off meta. Like I think I'm more interested at this point, having gone through all of like these, all of these events where it's always the same setup all the time. I'm looking for off meta ideas. All right, so I'm coming up with some. Let me know what your favorite off meta deck is. Share that. Let's share the information and try them out, and hopefully we can enjoy our events a little bit. Commander, I think, is really the best time to be able to do these off meta events decks. So let me share with me. Let me know. You can comment it in my video after it's live, or you can join me in my network, my network chat room, and share a picture of your team there. All right. Looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks a lot for joining me, guys. Have a good weekend. Well, have a good rest of the week, and then upcoming weekend, have a good event. I'll see you later. Take care, guys.